you don't build a house by just putting a brick on top of a brick and saying, that's upright. You do measure if something is vertical perfectly because it's serious, it's a house you're building. Hey everyone, today I'm checking out the Rast Sound Lumo. It promises to give you some loudness with game-changing opportunities. So it says like this: every producer reaches that point where basic EQ and compression just can't capture the energy or vibrancy their track demands. Ooh, the demands. Lumo changes the game-changing, offering an advanced multi-stage psychoacoustic approach, to loudness enhancement that instantly injects depth, warmth, and clarity, preserving dynamics, avoiding any compression, and limiting artifacts. Okay, nice. It did sound like that. Honestly, I already checked it out before the video. They do try to describe a little bit more in detail what is happening there. Like, honestly, it's just adjectives. It's just saying preserving dynamics and delivering a bigger, more vibrant sound. Again, it's just, descriptive of what it makes you feel like, but it doesn't really give you a technical data on like what actually is happening behind the scenes. Okay, maybe it's proprietary, so all expected. There is no manual that I could find. Why I wanted to check it out is, I'm interested in what's new there. The plugin is basically free until February 24th. So let's go into Laab. What I have set up to compare this is 3 tracks, identical music on all 3 of them. Of course, sample accurate. So on the first track, we have Lumo with settings where, everything's basically boosted up to a maximum. So the first slider, which is the effect, I've boosted up to 1.5, whatever 1.5 is. And it goes from 0 to 1.5, you guessed it. And the character boosted up to 1, from -1 to 1. And I guess this is something that has to do with how transits are treated as well. Probably, who knows how many things in the back are just like moved by this one macro called character. The output stays at 0. Quality is 2 times oversampling only. I can do the same thing on my limiter. Forgot to do that. And the soft clip is on. On FabFilter Pro L, I've selected the EDM Punchy and just boosted up the gain input to get somewhat the same kind of volume and loudness. And not kind of, I actually compared it to be the same. And then the third track has nothing on it. Again, the same audio, but just clean. No boosting. And those 2 that I've treated with Lumo and FabFilter Pro L, I've pulled down the volume so that they are the same loudness as the original audio. So we can compare those. Enough with the intro. Let's play some audio through it. So I'm going to play some electronic music, as always. So that's the comparison between the Lumo and FabFilter Pro L. Now, there's not too much of a difference. I'm guessing that what it tells me is that Lumo is really doing a good job. When I say not too much of a difference, really not too much of a difference. It is boosting that sound. As you can see in FabFilter Pro L, I'm getting like 3.4 dBs of gain reduction, which would be somewhere standard, normal, of course, for electronic music. Processing happening before that. Now, we're not getting too much of an LUFS boost. It's up to -8. Usually get way more. Now, what I want to say is, it's really doing a good job getting up to that point. Okay, so getting to be really cool and similar to a limiter doing -3.4 maximum gain reduction. Now, basically, I know that you're not supposed to maybe use this as the final processor on the chain, and maybe this is just something that's going to sit somewhere within the chain, preparing the signal to get to a limiter. Since it does say that it's giving you the loudness, it's saying that it's doing that in a really psychoacoustical way, well, I wanted to compare it to something that is really trying to be really clean in getting you the loudness, which would be a limiter, and what other than Pro L2. What I can do as well is compare these 2 processed audios, let's say on a different part of a song, or maybe even on a different song, and compare those 2 to the dry signal. So let's try this song as well. at this point, like getting to this loudness, it does really do a good job, but there is a difference in between it and the limiter and the original. So the limiter somewhat is more true to the original dry song from what I can hear. And I guess it's due to something doing with the phases. It's not like I have super ears. I do practice a lot, but it has something that's happening there, something that's happening in the background with it, the way it's processing everything. Let's see what I can find out with Plugin Doctor. Okay, so what I can see immediately in Plugin Doctor is that, yeah, it does have this oversampling filter. The soft clip being used, yeah, it does soft clip and has kind of a curve upwards. But okay, none of that I think is really significant. I think it has something to do with the phase. Yeah, it does. And if I load the FabFilter Pro L here, as you can see, if I mute this, you can see that in FabFilter Pro L, the phase does not move. So I'm going to mute it. That red line is the FabFilter Pro L's response. And if we go back to the frequency, you can see that just as well, let's say when we are oversampling by that much, we get the same kind of that anti-aliasing filter. This changes the phase significantly. And okay, maybe this smearing happening to the higher frequencies, maybe it's something that you really don't notice, you know, unless you're doing this in parallel. But this lower part, this being flipped right here at 500 hertz, I'm guessing that, you know, and any effect on the frequencies lower than that, I guess that's something that actually is the thing I hear being different. That's what's happening. It might not be too much. Like, I like the result I'm getting. I'm just not sure that this is something I could use and slap onto everything. So just like another plugin I recently tested, the Heaviosity Refiner, also has some phase movement right there, which is not something that I might want to introduce to anything I'm working on. So it wouldn't be the plugin that I can just place on the master and use it or not use it. And let me see if that disappears when I take out the effect. No. When I take out the character, no. Resampling, no. It just moves based on that soft clip as well. Okay, so the final verdict. Maybe this sounds better on your master than just a limiter in some occasions. Would have to test way more for much longer time than just like one video. What I can definitely say is I wouldn't want this as a plugin that sits on my master at all times, because not everything is going to be cool with that kind of phase change. The lack of manual is something that I don't really like. I like to have a manual and see what is actually happening. Like, what am I doing? And I do know that some things are proprietary and they don't want to get into it because, yeah, it's their algorithm, you know. The lack of metering is also something that if it's a mastering plugin, it's like some metering, like it doesn't provide you with a lot of feedback on what is actually going on with the sound. Listen with your ears, don't listen with your eyes. I agree with that. But as I already mentioned once, you don't build a house by just putting a brick on top of a brick and saying, that's upright. You know, you do measure if something is vertical perfectly because it's serious, you know, it's a house you're building. In same sense, the tools you use, especially if they're supposed to be used for mastering, maybe think they would need to have better explanation, some more visual feedback on what's happening, and not just a slider that says 1.5, you know, 0 to 1.5 in the character of -1 to 1. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, subscribe. A lot of you watching the videos are not subscribed. It will be really good if you do. And if you like the video, give it a like. If you don't like my glasses, say so in the comments. And if you want to learn more about music production in detail, go to mixingacademy.com. You will find my free course there, completely free, thanks to 11.org. I'll see you in the next video.